The aftermath of an inspiring music class. Chapter 1. The note that started it all. Mr. Harrison, the music teacher at Maplewood High, was known for two things: his wild, untamed curls that bounced when he conducted, and his unwavering belief that music is for everyone. Unfortunately, his students didn't share the same enthusiasm. "Ladies and gentlemen," Mr. Harrison said, slamming his baton onto the music stand. "Welcome to Music 101, where legends are born and ears are tested." Liam Carter, a skeptical sophomore, leaned over to his friend Josh. "I heard you have to be born with musical talent. My cousin tried piano for 6 years and she still sounds like a malfunctioning robot." Mr. Harrison, as if he had supersonic hearing, spun around. "Ah, perfect place to begin. The first misconception: talent is genetic. Misconception number 1, you're either born with it or you're not." Mr. Harrison scribbled talent in big, bold letters on the board. "Contrary to popular belief," he began, adjusting his glasses dramatically, "music is not an exclusive club, it's a skill. Do you think Mozart came out of the womb conducting symphonies? Exactly. Talent is like a muscle. The more you train, the better you get. Research from the Journal of Music Theory suggests that consistent practice, about 10,000 hours, can turn almost anyone into an expert." Liam looked doubtful. "So if I practice, I could be like Beethoven?" Mr. Harrison grinned. "Well, Beethoven was deaf and still composed masterpieces, so with working ears you have an even better shot." The class chuckled. Challenge number 1, the I can't read music syndrome. The first real challenge arose when Mr. Harrison handed out sheet music. The paper might as well have been ancient hieroglyphics to some students. Emily, a violinist who had faked reading music for 2 years, gulped. What exactly am I looking at?" "Ah," Mr. Harrison clapped. "Meet the second biggest myth in music, the idea that reading sheet music is hard." He quickly sketched a simple musical staff on the board. "Think of this like a road map. The lines and spaces represent different notes, just like letters in the alphabet. You don't need to memorize them all at once. Start with just 5 notes." "But what about those weird symbols?" asked Josh, pointing at the sheet. "Good question. The little circles with sticks? Those are note values. Some are long, some are short. It's just a fancy way of saying how long to hold the note." Within 15 minutes, the class had their first breakthrough. Music wasn't as impossible as they thought. Chapter 2. The Unexpected Band Battle. Things escalated when the school principal, Mr. Stevens, announced a Battle of the Bands competition. Suddenly, the once apathetic students had a reason to care. But with motivation came chaos. Liam wanted to be the lead singer but could barely match pitch. Josh insisted on playing drums despite having the rhythmic sense of a broken metronome. Emily wanted to quit violin and play bass, thinking it was easier. The band, aptly named the Flat Notes, sounded as awful as their name suggested. Mr. Harrison, instead of panicking, laughed. "Every great band starts somewhere. The Beatles didn't wake up one day and say, 'Hey, let's be the greatest band of all time.' They practiced, failed, and learned." Real-time solutions, the power of practice and ear training. Step by step, Mr. Harrison introduced them to the magic of structured practice. 1. Pitch training. Liam used a digital tuner to see if his voice matched the correct notes. 2. Rhythm exercises. Josh clapped out simple beats before moving to the drum kit. 3. Instrument switching strategy. Emily learned that bass guitar wasn't necessarily easier than violin. It required different techniques. And slowly, something magical happened. The flat notes got better. Not great, but better. Expected outcomes. The big performance. When competition day arrived, the Flat Notes weren't the best band, but they weren't the worst either. They played an original song, slightly off-key and a little too fast, but with passion. The crowd cheered, not for their perfection, but for their progress. As they packed up their instruments, Liam turned to Mr. Harrison. "I get it now. Music isn't about being born talented, it's about learning, struggling, and improving. Mr. Harrison winked. Now you're speaking my language. Final thoughts. Music is often misunderstood. Some believe it requires natural-born genius. Others think sheet music is a secret code only the gifted can decipher. But the truth? Music is for everyone. With patience, persistence, and the right teacher, even the flat notes can hit the right key. Key takeaways. Misconceptions debunked. Talent isn't inherited. Reading music isn't impossible, and instruments aren't ranked by difficulty. Challenges overcome. Fear of failure, lack of rhythm, and instrument switching doubts. Real-time solutions. Structured practice, ear training, and breaking learning into smaller steps. Expected outcomes, progress over perfection. Music, much like life, isn't about being perfect. It's about playing through the mistakes and enjoying the process. And that is the true aftermath of an inspiring music class.